majority of column array speakers out there right now just suck. Well guys, welcome to the garage. If you guys don't know, my name is DJ Rick Webb. Feel free to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, all that fun stuff right there. Yeah, do it. These behind me are the Turbo Sound IP300s. You guys probably just saw them in the latest gig log that I just posted, which was the first time using these out in the real world. I was kind of liking them. They're different, but I was kind of liking them. That all changed last night. Last night I used them at the second wedding at a bigger venue, and I literally now hate these speakers. Let me tell you why. So this was out at a castle venue, not too far from here. I'll show some pictures and clips. It's about 40 feet wide, roughly about 80 feet long. Definitely a lot longer than what we were at Friends Farm. Set of pictures are right here. We were using the two Turbo Sound IP300s with two JBL PRX 715 XLF subs. Side note, JBL PRX 15-inch subs, the 815 XLFs, which are the same as the 715 XLFs that I have. From portability to sound output, they're amazing. Anyways, we did ceremony, cocktail, dinner, all in the same room, and reception, all in the same room with the same setup. When I'm trying to play the low-level sort of background music so that people can still have conversations to that, what I was finding is that these speakers drop off heavy right around 50 feet out. So when you're projecting forward right around 50 feet out, the sound output literally just goes whoo. It's not gradual either. It's like nosedive, like instant. What I was having to do is play the tops at a considerably high level for like a cocktail portion or a dinner portion in front of the DJ booth to be able to achieve volume at the far end of the room, and that just didn't work really well. I was blasting the like tables in front of me, and I hated it. And then when I did introductions, I'm standing about midway towards the far end of the room doing my introductions, and I found myself literally shouting on the mic, like shouting into the mic, just so I could like hear myself. Obviously it was loud enough, everyone could hear what I was saying. We had it, these speakers are loud enough. It's just they can't throw sound. They literally cannot throw sound. A standard point source top, like a 12-inch speaker or a 15-inch speaker, they can throw sound. You put them up on a speaker stand and they will project the sound and it'll gradually taper off. With these, they don't do that. They drop off heavy, which means you need to use like side or rear fill speakers to fill in those gaps. Now, it's not all bad news. One thing these speakers excel at is when you want to push them loud. So when it came to open dancing, when I actually turned them up, I did mention in my last gig log, these things get plenty loud in front of the DJ booth on the dance floor. During open dancing, I was able to get really loud, like a nice, good sound on the dance floor, sounded clean, sounded great, and it tapered off and had that moderate volume that I was trying to do during the open dancing portion so that the people in the back can be sitting at tables and can still have conversation, and then when you're up on the dance floor, it's nice and loud. But the fact that they don't have the throw that I need for dinner and cocktail just doesn't make them worth it. So overall, my recommendations for the Turbo Sound IP300s behind me is that they are not good for a main speaker, but they are good for like a cocktail speaker if you want to put like a speaker in one room for like cocktail music. Really good speaker for that. Really full range sound for doing like cocktail music. And they'd also be good for just the ceremony speaker. As far as like pairing them with subs and trying to use them as mains, unless you're running side fills and rear fills in the back of the room, they're just not good. Now let's move into the actual topic of the thumbnail and the clickbait title of this video, and that is discussing why majority of column array speakers out there right now just suck. So let's start things off with the #1 speaker that people recommended to me on Instagram, link right there. After the wedding, literally yesterday, I posted that I hate these speakers, and people just went off in the comments. Everyone was like, you need to try the EV Evolve 50. Well, if you remember, at the end of 2018, I actually was at a wedding with my buddy Ray out at Friends Farm, a venue I'm very familiar with in terms of how a lot of different speakers, including my SRX series, sound at, and he was using the EV Evolve 50s. And I've heard them in many other cases as well. I will say straight up, all of the column arrays out there right now, I'm talking about the RCF, the Bose, the EV Evolve 50s, the Turbo Sound options, the JBL Eon, like one Pro array or whatever, the LB Systems Valley 5 Go, Those are the ones I've heard. I've never heard like the FBTs yet. I really want to check out what the FBT sounds like. But anyways, overall, out of all of those that I've heard, the EV Evolve 50s have the best overall sound. From the highs to the mids to the lows, the sound is the best. It has the cleanest sound, and it literally is just the best sounding column array out there. There's two things I do not like about the EV Evolve 50s. The bass output is good for most events, but for my taste, I mean, I bring two 15-inch subs out and I literally put them almost at limit at every event because I want bass. I like a lot of bass. The EV Evolve 50s do bump. They have some good bass to them, but they don't have enough for what I would like. Now, that's not a game breaker for most people out there, and that's why they're a really popular speaker. But there is one flaw that I do not see a lot of people talking about with the EV Evolve 50s, and that is the height. The Evolve 50s have a standard pole that you put into the sub and then the top, but you cannot raise the array. It is stuck at that height as of now. And what ends up happening, and I literally got to listen to this in person at that wedding out at Friend's Farm, is that because they are so low, because that high mid top portion of the Evolves is so low, it literally is not too much higher than most people's average head height. And what ends up happening is if you have a packed dance floor, if you get a lot of people up on the dance floor like you most likely are gonna have, what ends up happening is that group of people absorbs all of that sound because the speakers are literally firing right into the people. When you go to the back of the dance floor, it is really quiet, even though the Evolves are like pumping out at limit. And I got to witness this firsthand, and that is the one reason why I will not get the Evolve 50s. Now, you could do a hack to the EV Evolve 50s to achieve both of the reasons why I don't like them, and that is buying, say, like an EV ELX 12-inch sub and then stacking the Evolves on top of them. You'll get more bass output, and you'll get those mid and high drivers an extra foot in the air, which probably would achieve what you want to do and what the sound profile I will be looking for. Only problem is you get into a lot more money, especially since the EV Evolve 50s are one of the most expensive column arrays out there. Alright, so now let's talk about the Bose L1. I have heard this speaker multiple times in person, and I'm just going to straight up say it just does not have it. It just does not. It does not have anywhere near the bass. The highs and mids are just not there, and it just does not have the output. I don't... Feel free to comment down below, but I just don't think it has it. Now let's move over into the JBL Eon 1 and Eon 1 Pro. It's going to go right along the lines of the Bose, and it just does not have it. It does not have the bass. Definitely does not have the output. Even costing less than the EV Evolve 50s, it's just not there. It's just not. It's not. And we'll jump right into the LD Systems Maui as well. It just doesn't have it. It does not have it. All of those three right there, the LD Systems, the JBL, the Bose, they all, for the price, they just don't have it. Unless you're doing parties under 100 people, they just don't have it for me. Now, I will say a caveat there. LD Systems does make a column array that costs a significant amount more outside of the price range that could do it, but you're looking at like way too, it's not even worth talking about. All right, I didn't leave it off. Last one I want to talk about, and I saved the best for last because this is honestly the one I'm looking at getting, is the RCF EVOX 8. And we could also throw in there the J8s as well. Compared to the EV Evolve 50s, the sound is very comparable. I will give the edge to the EV Evolve 50s having the better sound, but the RCFs are right there with them. The one thing that the RCF has over the EVs is the fact that the top, high, and mid drivers are on an adjustable pole, so that you can put them up nice and high over top of everyone's heads and project your sound. I've never A/B'd them side by side, but I do actually think that the RCF might have the edge in the bass department. They're both 12-inch subs, so it's very hard to tell. Again, both of them don't have the bass that I necessarily want, but I do think the RCF has a little more bass. Now, you might be asking the question, Ricky, you just talked about the turbo sounds dropping off heavy at 50 feet. Why would the Evolve 50s or the RCF EVOX 8s that you're looking at not do the same thing? When doing my research, and trust me, I did a ton of research before I bought these, I overlooked one thing, and that was the actual design of the horns. I'll show a little closer up of the turbo sound, but what they did was they took 4 tweeters up top and they angled them. Compared to the EV Evolves and the RCF and pretty much all the other arrays that I mentioned have all straight firing tweeters and mid drivers, which is what I think is the flaw in the turbo sounds. Because they angled them, they were more trying to project sound to the left and right to achieve that very wide coverage, versus the other ones that I mentioned have all the straight firing ones, so they're meant to focus sound out into the sides, versus these are more focused at really wide side coverage. And in hearing the EVOX and the EV Evolve 50s in person, I actually noticed that clearly, that they don't drop off heavy. That was something I overlooked. I'm gonna be honest, I was expecting these to sound like the EV Evolve or the RCF EVOX, the top portion. I was expecting these to sound just like the tops of the speakers, which obviously in practice I found out that they don't sound anywhere near it, which also might lead to why they cost so little. Now, for anyone that's still watching this video at this point, first off, thank you very much. Feel free to leave a like on this video because it's very detailed and very long. I've been talking a lot about column arrays. A lot. And I'm about to blow your mind because column arrays really do suck. If you are going to compare, say, the EV Evolve 50s, even with adding the two 12-inch subs like I said, or the RCF EVOX 8s or the J8, it is not, and I repeat, is not going to sound better or even the same as 2 subs and 2 tops. The technology is not there. You are going to get a better overall sound, a better sound profile with a traditional setup with 2 subs and 2 tops or even bigger. And this becomes very true when you get into bigger events. Column arrays really are not there for most events 200 plus. They are not there at all. Most column arrays are more in the 150 under club, maybe 200. Most of them are in that vicinity in terms of the people that you're going to have at your events. Let me bring up another point about those smaller events, and then I'm going to talk about the bigger events as well. With those smaller events, one thing with the column arrays that they do good at is give you more sound for the money. So let's think about this. Say you got $1,000 right now, right? Say you got $800 to $1,000 to spend on a speaker. You could buy an EV EKX 15 top, you could buy a JBL PRX 15 top, you could buy a QSE K12. You could also buy an RCF EVOX J8 for $800 or RCF EVOX 8 for $1,000. The sound profile of the EVOX is going to be a lot greater. You're going to have a lot more full range because you're going to have a dedicated sub and dedicated mid and high drivers. So you're going to get more bass out of the system compared to just that single top. But countering that, if you do go with say 2 QSE K12s or 2 15-inch tops and you add 18-inch subs, well then that sound system is going to be a lot more and have a lot more capability than just the RCF EVOX 8s. So it's really all about thinking about what you want to do. If 95% of your events are 150 and less, then 2 EVOX 8s is the better option to get. But say you do those 150 person events, but you also do a lot of events that are 200, 250, maybe 300, it's probably going to be a better option to buy the 2 traditional 12 or 15-inch tops and buy 2 18 or 15-inch subs, because you will have the larger output to be able to do those big events and those small events. I will tell you guys straight up, the ideal column array speaker for me to meet the bass criteria that I want, to meet the output that I want, to meet the ability to raise the highs and mids above everyone's crowds and shoot the highs and mids long, it's the RCF EVOX 12. That is a 15-inch sub and a even larger array driver. And the only reason I didn't mention it in this video until now is because it costs $2,500 for one of the RCF EVOX 12s. I can buy 3 RCF EVOX J8s for the price of 1 RCF EVOX 12. As much as you guys think I love to blow money on all kinds of gear and stuff like that, I actually go through a pretty thorough process of making sure it's a smart investment. And I've already gone through the process. The RCF EVOX 12 is not a smart investment for me. But RCF EVOX 8s, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the J8s. We will see in 2020 if that's what I switch to. But I will leave you guys on this final note, and that is I am no longer using the TurboSound IP300s. If any of you guys want to buy them off me, because they've gone up in price recently. I think now they cost $500 a piece. I only paid like $320 a piece for these. So if you guys want to use these for like a cocktail or a ceremony speaker, hit me up on Instagram. Maybe we can work out a deal. But I'm going to be going back to using my JBL PureX 712s with my JBL PureX 715 XLF subs, which I've already said are amazing. But anyways, guys, this was a very long video of me just sitting down in front of a camera talking about speakers, talking about a lot of the research that I've already done in the market, a lot of the in-person experience I've had with these speakers, a lot of, again, this is all my opinion, people. I know the comments are going to go rampant, but let me know what you guys thought of this video. Let me know what you guys experience are with column arrays. On that note, guys, I'm going to on that note, guys, I'm going to go back to using, and on that note, guys, I'm not going to, comments, subscribe, like. As always, guys, my name's DJ Rick Webb. Keep the record spinning. Peace.
What's going on, everybody? Justin Schwarz here, content director at the DJ's Guru, coming at you from the DJ's Guru studio. And today we're going to take a deep dive into the RCF EVOX 12 portable column array system. Now, I myself hadn't been gigging as much as I had been the last several years as the column array was getting more and more popular. So the EVOX 12 was a system that I was very excited to try and review because I've heard so many great things about it. I sold so many of these systems to very, very happy customers, and I've heard it several times, always been happy with the sound, but to get it outside in a backyard or on a gig is a totally different environment, and I'm really excited to really see what this thing can do on a stress test. So we're going to get into the specs, but before we do, I just want to remind you, please support the DJ's Guru by subscribing to our page. Definitely, if you can, like this video. And then if you have any comments, questions, did we miss anything, whatever, I can handle it. Drop your comments in the comment section below. So we really appreciate that. Now, the specs. So this is a Baltic birch wooden cabinet. The RCF EVOX series are all wooden cabinets as opposed to plastic. So you get a nice warm sound and very, very robust, durable, feels really, really solid. It's a 1400 watt system. It's comprised of a bottom and a top, which I'm holding. The bottom is a 15-inch sub, okay? And it goes down to about 20,000 hertz, weighs about 60 pounds. And as far as the amp goes, 1,000 watts of the amplifier are going to the bottom end. And then you have this awesome array, which is really sexy looking, right? But this is comprised of 8 4-inch neodymium transducers. They're full range, and you're getting incredible sound out of these with a 90 by 30 tilted dispersion. They have a pole that goes in between them. It's an M20 threaded pole, and then you have Paracon cable that goes up into the back of the speaker. Now, I've heard some people say they don't love that. Keep in mind, the better quality systems are always going to have an actual cable. It's just more secure. It's a better quality system, and overall, it's what you're going to see as you go up in class with the column and the array type series speakers. So to me, that's not a big deal. We'll see how it tests, we'll see how it performs, and we'll see how it looks when I get it out there. As far as everything else, as far as the specs go, the only other thing I want to mention is that it has the Fur-Phase patented DSP technology, and that means that you're going to get that patented, unbelievable, crystal clear RCF sound, I hope. But everything I've ever heard that has the Fur-Phase technology sounds amazing, so I'm really excited to see what this can do. Now, I know it's going to sound great, but with the portable column arrays, I'm wondering, is it going to give me enough oomph to do the kind of gigs that I would want to do and use it for. So we're going to get it out there. I'm excited, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, so I just loaded up here. I'm getting ready for my sound check, and I just want to let you know, between the 2 column array systems, my controller, and a bag of cables, a table, and a few other things, I did everything in 3 trips. So it was pretty good, and I probably could have done it in less than that, but I didn't bring a cart. But just so you know, even if you don't bring a cart, 3 trips max for this whole system. So portability, convenience, ease of use, simplicity. If you're a single op, great system to have. Your multi-op, great system to have because it's easy to train somebody on. But I just wanted to point that out, and my load-in was really easy, really designed very well, as we talked about earlier. All right, we're gonna start with our first song. This is gonna be a slower hip-hop rap style beat with kind of some electronic sounds to it too. Really kind of a cool track here. But let's listen, let's hear what we have to hear, and here we go. So right off the bat, extremely crystal clear. Really, really clear, wow. Let's take a walk. There you got the bass coming in. And what I'm hearing right now is I'm hearing a lot of sound that I'm not used to hearing on a two-way cabinet. I feel the bass, and as I'm walking in this direction, remember the portable Palmer type speaker has a very wide coverage. So as I'm moving here, there's no loss in sound at all. Now that's one of the issues with the design of the two-way box is that, you know, you walk 10 feet to the left and all of a sudden, total sound drop off. I'm not getting that here. So if you're looking for an elegant sound, if you're looking for real room coverage, not necessarily in your face, any type of event like that with crystal clear sound, very balanced, this is a great option. Let's get a little closer here. Wow. Really good. All right, let's try another track. Hey, what's up? Let's go with track number 2. We're gonna do more of an electronic track for you. See what that kick sounds like. I love that kick, very important to me. So I gotta make sure I test that out. And again, this is the column array. So you have your, with the EVOX 12, the 15-inch sub at the bottom, and then you have your array and all of your mid-range and highs at the top. So it's very separated, it's balanced, it's the way a sound system should be run, and as I told you on the first one, you're feeling the bass because, again, bass needs to be on the floor. So let's go with track number 2. Right off the bat, I can feel it. I'll put the gain up a little bit. Let's take a walk and hear what we hear. So, remember the EVOX 12 is a wooden box, wooden cabinet, which is always going to give you a richer sound compared to the ABS polypropylene type cabinets. Loses less air, ultimately is going to give you more output as well comparatively to a plastic speaker box. So again, what I'm hearing right now is just really warm, clean, balanced music. It's not, like I said, in your face the way that a two-way is. Now, I could be standing here with a two-way and it might be really loud. It might be louder than what I'm hearing right now, but as soon as I go like this, it's completely not, I don't even hear it. Where right now with the EVOX 12, it sounds exactly the same. So as I walk around the party or the gig, whatever it is, you know, it's even. It's an even sound coverage. I'm not really even getting much drop off as I go back. And I gotta tell you, that to me is something that is really cool. All right, now just to give you an idea right now, the way I'm running this, I have this at 12 o'clock, which is unity on these. I feel like I could probably turn them up. So I think I'm gonna do that a little bit and see if I get more output from these. I don't think I'm even coming close to what I can do with the output. So let's try that for our third track. I'm gonna pump this up. All right, so we pumped it up a little bit. I turned my gains up and I have the gains on the RCF EVOX 12 up, and I'm ready to turn this up now. One of the things that is important to know is, yes, we're the DJ's Guru, of course, but we're performance reviews, performance products, which can be a musician, band, whatever. And we didn't cover rock music previously, and I think that's an important genre to listen to on a system like this, because this is a great PA system. This is a great system for a small band, even a solo artist that's going to be in venues and needs really crystal clear, easy, portable, great sound. So I want to hear a rock song. How about you guys? Here we go. You ready? There it is. The vocals, I hear the vocals, and I hear the guitar and the bass completely separate. Oh wow. Completely clean, no distortion, and I hear everything. Now remember, I'm outside, so the bass is not going to travel as well as it would in a catering hall, on a wooden stage, you know, on a outdoor patio, whatever the case may be. You know, sound's not going that great here on the grass. But I know this would sound even tastier if I was in another room or a real room. But for rock music, this is a great setup. And if you're a DJ and you have a system like this, now you can run sound. Now you can run sound for a band. You have another tool in your toolbox. So I'm really impressed, man. This is pretty awesome. Okay, we're gonna play the stress test red line game. We all love this. This is one of my favorite parts to say, hey, what can this bad boy system do for us? How far can I push it before I start getting red lights? So again, right now my mixer is all kind of set up at Unity. I have my master at Unity. My gains are definitely up a little bit, and I'm going to continue to try to push those with this song here and see what we can do. So here we go. Our gains a little bit. Still clean on my master, but I'm getting there. Let's go check the speaker. I see no red light. Still good. It's really loud. Holy cow. All right, here we go. Clean. I got red. Alright. So it's time to turn it back a little bit. Okay. Alright, my red light is blinking just a little bit. We're gonna go down a notch. And now we're clean again. And now, I think we go take a listen. So this is pretty much the speaker at its loudest point, right? I'm on the dance floor right now, right? Right in front. It sounds so clean. It's not really hurting. It's not hurting my ears at all. I'm gonna walk back. Still sounds great. Love it. So if we take a look at the back here, it's very similar to other RCF products. You have your input link, you have a flat and a boost EQ on the back, your volume knob there. You also have XLR output with a 1/4 inch output, and then you have input sensitivity, which you always want to make sure you keep online for sound. The only time you ever want to put that on mic is if you're strictly using it for a PA system. You just plug in a mic in it. Otherwise, you're going to sound terrible. So I love the PowerCon, direct connection. And what also is unique about the EVOX systems is that it's a pull. It doesn't use the magnetic click system. So definitely different than the Evolve 50s and a lot of the other comm array systems that you have out there right now. What I love also that they give you, they thought of every detail. They gave you little clips here, as you can see, to keep your system looking nice and tight. I know I'm very anal like that, so it's kind of cool that they already included those. And then of course you got your PowerCon in. I also want to point out in the back this nifty design that they have built into the speaker sub box here, where they actually have a pull handle, right, that telescopes down. It actually helps to keep the cable in there, right? But when you telescope it up, you got 2 wheels there. So with the cover on, everything slides over. Well, as we saw earlier, and it rolls right in. It's beautiful, and basically you have your whole system, you know, card, everything built into the speaker. It's pretty cool. I love everything about the design of it. Again, they really did think of everything. All right, so how'd you like the review? Did we have a good time? I know I did. So we're gonna go to the pros and the cons and my overall opinion for you on the EVOX 12 system from our friends at RCF. So as you could tell from the past clips, I was very impressed with the system. I loved the sound quality of it. As usual, RCF does not disappoint. Crystal clear, and the most impressive thing to me, for someone who is somewhat new to, you know, using a system like this, especially outdoors, was you hear everything differently than you do with just a two-way, because you have those 8 separate speakers going at the same time, and you really do hear the separation of the music. So extremely warm, extremely rich, very, very clear, and just what I say, pleasing, very pleasing on the ears. So the sound quality, number 1, definitely a pro. Number 2, super portable. Like I said earlier, 60 pounds on that sub, so it's not too bad. I'm not a big guy. I had no problem lifting it up. Fit in the back of the car, both subs. The column arrays will easily go anywhere in your back seat or your front seat. So super portable. They have that pull handle built in there with the wheels at the bottom, and that's really cool. So really a great system to kind of pull in, pull out, do your thing, quick, easy setup. And on top of that, which the best part is, the first thing I said was they sound amazing. So to have that convenience paired with that sound quality is very, very advantageous, and something that I definitely want to hold on to. So the third thing, of course, as usual, RCF to me, very, very sexy, professional, just a classic styled speaker, robust looking, feeling, durable, sturdy, well made. Everything about it just speaks of quality. So every time I put my hands on an RCF speaker, I can feel that Italian made quality. And I just really do love it. So now, we always have to talk about the cons, right? We got to keep it real here. So not perfect, not a perfect system. Nothing is, but everything is built at a price point. So I try to be fair when I talk about these things. Now, we talked about the wheels and the pull handle earlier, which were great additions. They do feel a little clumsy, a little cheap. The wheels feel like eventually they may break on me. Not the end of the world. It's kind of like a throw-in anyway. So if that does happen, I don't think it will, because hopefully I'm pretty careful with my stuff, but God forbid it does. Worst case scenario is I throw it on a cart, and that to me is not a big deal. We've spoken about the second con on other RCF speakers, and this mainly comes back to RCF's focus, which is on the sound and basically having your speakers perform one function, not necessarily being a Swiss Army knife. So the speaker back, as we saw earlier, the mixer on there, not very robust. You're going to just have your single input. There's no Bluetooth or extra bells and whistles that you're going to have in there. Not really a big deal again to me. I always recommend DJs, performers, musicians, you should have in your tool chest a USB line mixer. That's going to save you more times than you'll know in so many different situations. Definitely want to have one of those. So again, a con is the mixer on the back's not that great, but again, RCF's not going to spend a ton of money to put some RCAs in there, some Bluetooth to take away from the sound quality, or they're just going to have to charge you $300 or $400 more for it, and nobody wants that, right? So anyway, you're buying RCF for the sound, let's be honest. As far as the last con, I would say on this particular system, people are going to complain about the cables. For me, not a big deal. I'm going to work on getting the cable management better. I know I can kind of snake it up backwards where no one will see anything from the front view. I kind of snake them around. That was the way I'm used to doing it with my full range speakers. So it was cool that they included those clips with the little thing that holds the wire. I like that. And again, the better quality systems like this are always going to have a hardwire cable, just simply because it's a reliable, direct connection. You don't have to worry about it. It's never going to fail you. And that's just what the better quality systems are going to have. They're going to engineer their product with a foolproof solution, not something that may be defective or be faulty at some point in the future. And you know, when you're making an investment in a system like this, it's good to know that the engineers behind it are thinking long term, because this is a system that you should have for years and years to come. Now, overall, I want to keep it. I want to keep it, and I'm gonna keep this one because this is an amazing system that is going to really be very versatile for me in a lot of different situations. I'm running sound now for other DJs. I'm doing my own thing. I'm also running sound for bands and other types of events out there, trying to do what I can. And this is a really cool system to have because it's really easy to set up, really easy to get in my car, which is not huge, go do my thing. Sometimes I can even leave the baby seat in. And ultimately, this is just a great system to have. So really, really happy with it. And I definitely would recommend this one to anyone out there. I definitely think it's worth the money, 100%. And I'm a big fan. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the RCF EVOX 12 portable column array system. Great, awesome, ear-pleasing portable column array system. Really impressed with this thing. I want to keep it. I want to keep it. I got to keep it. Got to talk to RCF. Got to work out a deal. But hey, we had a good time with this. I hope you did too. If you enjoy this content, we really appreciate your support. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell to get notifications. And if you like this video, give us a like. If you have questions, comments, if I got something wrong, if you disagree with anything I said, please let me know. I want to know. I'm not perfect. I like to hear what everyone out there has to say. There's a lot of different perspectives out there, and maybe I got something wrong. So please, let me know if I did. If you like the content, let me know that too. I don't mind a compliment. But we hope you had a good time today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on the flip side.
I posted some pictures from my gig on Saturday night, and I also put up a gig log. Somebody noticed that I was using one of the new compact array systems with the subwoofer on the bottom and the column up top, and they wanted to know what's the difference between this and something like the traditional two-way top cabinet that we're all used to seeing. Now, before I get too far into this video, I feel like I need to file a disclaimer for those technical folks out there. Okay, this isn't really an LED par fixture. There's nothing par about it, but we call it that. This isn't really an array. It kind of is, but not really. I call them column arrays or compact arrays. I'll use that terminology in this video. They're classified as several different things. They're unique, let's just say that. But they are kind of like a little array, so we're going to use that terminology in this video. I apologize to Ben Stowe. I hope I'm not giving you a stroke. With your typical two-way top cabinet, you've got a woofer and a horn. Your woofer is producing all of the bass, some of the mid, and then your horn is producing another part of the mid and all of the treble. Now, this does vary, but most horns have something close to a 60-degree dispersion. They're very directional. You point these speakers where you want the sound to go, and that's where it goes. If you're right in front of it, you hear it very well. Horns are also great for long throws, so you see them a lot in concert PAs. Now, on these little compact arrays, and I'm not talking about the big concert ones, but the little compact ones, it's different. You have a subwoofer down below handling all of your sub bass and some of your mid bass. Up top, you're typically not seeing a horn. On the big ones you get them, but on the little ones, you get full range speakers handling some of your mid and all your treble. It's a much smoother sound. You don't get that honking sound like you can sometimes get with your horn. The dispersion is very different too. You're looking at 110 degrees on this one, so it's very wide. Why is that cool? Well, let's say that you're playing in a room where people are sitting next to you or next to the dance floor. On a horn that has a 60-degree dispersion, they might not hear announcements very well, but on something like this, they're going to hear a lot better because the dispersion is wider. Now that doesn't mean that your two-way top cabinets are obsolete. I still use them. They've gone out quite a bit with me for smaller events where I don't feel like I need that subwoofer involved. Also, if you're dealing with big venues and you're dealing with big systems, this is usually the more feasible option, going with something like a two-way top cabinet and subwoofers below it, making it a three-way system. A lot of great capabilities with these systems yet, but these compact arrays are so cool for those of us who are doing, like I said, the, 100-person up to 300-person wedding receptions. You don't have to put this big top cabinet up on a pole. You get the sub bass, you get the wide dispersion, and it's a very smooth sound. There's a lot to these little systems, and there are so many companies making them. They all have different specs and capabilities, but I'm just trying to give you Reader's Digest in this video. Thanks for watching. Practice.
I got some gripes, okay? Not gripe. I'm just, two little, things, okay? We'll start with number one. What's this? What would you say this is right here? This right here. Now, if you answered, an overpriced, overhyped speaker called the EV50M, you're right, but that's not what I'm looking for, okay? What is this? What kind of speaker is this? The answer is this is a column array, okay? A column array. I have to address this, and I'm going to release this as a highlight and just try and spread this information around because so many DJs say this wrong. Everybody has been calling this a line array. This is not a line array. This is a column array. It's two different kinds of speakers, okay? Column array is stacked up in a column, up and down, like this, okay? A line array is is side to side. It's like those kind of concert-looking speakers, the same speakers they use at concerts and stuff, or if you had it in a mobile setup. This is a line array, okay? Like line arrays are horizontal. Column arrays are vertical. So many people get this wrong. YouTubers, people talking in DJ idea sharing, anytime an Evolve 50 or a J-Mix or, whatever JBL just came out with, if they've got a PRX line array, let me know how that sounds, by the way. I want to hear that, actually. But, I just called it a line array, a PRX column array. Everybody that talks about these speakers call them a line array. It is a column array speaker. So just get that in your vocabulary, DJs, okay? Column array. Big difference. That was a quick gripe. This is my other gripe.
So I couldn't figure out why I kept getting messages about column arrays today. I was getting a lot of questions about what type of events will this speaker handle? What type of events will that speaker handle? Is this one any good? Is that one any good? It's like, what's going on with the sudden interest in these little compact array systems? And then I saw the video with the thumbnail that said, compact arrays suck. Well, before we go any further, just understand that when it comes to sound, this is very much a matter of opinion. So some people have video cameras to express their opinions, other people don't. I happen to have one, so I'll express mine for you today. What I will say is that I've been DJing longer than most people have been alive. I've used a lot of different kinds of speaker systems, including passive, with subs, without subs, two-way and three-way tops, you name it, I've used it. And right now, for most of my events, which are primarily things like wedding receptions or corporate parties and things of that nature, I prefer the column array. I think it works really well for a lot of reasons. It has a really wide dispersion, so people beside you can hear really well. When you're using your traditional two-way top with the horn, it's 90-degree dispersion, it kind of shoots straight out. The people over here to the side have no idea what's going on. They can't hear it. All they're hearing is echoes off the back of the room. Not the case with column arrays. It's pretty cool that way. Shoot sound off to the side. You do have to take some care as to how you position your column arrays. If you're not careful, you can do things like get comb filtering going on in the room, where it's kind of this annoying reverb because the sound's overlapping from left to right. So you can do a little toe out on your speakers and avoid that. And you can also avoid having that sound coming back and hitting you in the head, or excessive microphone feedback. That happens too because the dispersion is wide. Kind of like you put a mic in front of the speaker, it squeals. On a compact array with a wide dispersion, if your microphone even is behind the speaker, you could get that squeal if you don't know how to set things up. So yeah, a little toe out on that is good. Now, one thing about like a two-way top cab with a horn and a woofer in it is that horn throws sound really far. It's pretty aggressive. It's PA stuff. It's designed to do that. With the column arrays, I've noticed that it does throw sound, but it's not as harsh up close. So if someone's sitting in front of me, I'm not making their ears bleed with a column array if I crank it up. If I do it with a horn, yeah, I could cause some real discomfort for anybody who's in that path. Other people talk about not enough bass on some of these column arrays. I need to add a subwoofer to it. That is definitely a personal preference. Some people want to do it, some people don't. Here's my take on it. Here's my reasoning on it. No one has ever asked me why there's not enough bass at an event. And I'm doing events anywhere from 100 to 250 people plus with these column array systems. I did one on Saturday that I'll post a gig log for soon of 250 people. And there was probably a good hour and a half of the guests on the microphone giving presentations and doing a raffle. Everybody could hear in the room. And incidentally, I was in the middle of a rectangular room, so it wasn't like I was shooting all this sound straight out. I was shooting sound way off to the sides as well. Everybody could hear fine, and yeah, I think it worked out really well. Now, if I'm doing a wedding reception and I add like a 15 or 18 inch subwoofer to a column array system, it's going to sound really cool, but I'm going to send low frequencies way to the back of a room, and they're going to boom in the back of the room where people are trying to have conversations. I don't want to knock grandma's dentures out back there. I want to keep my hot spot kind of right here on the dance floor. So I'm not worried about sending those low frequencies out further into the room because they don't do me any good there. But that's me. That's my preference. Those are my sound objectives. That's what I'm trying to achieve at these events. I don't need to fill the room with sound. If I do need to fill the room with sound, at a big school dance or something, I'm going to use a more traditional PA system because I need that throw. I need to fill the room. And if you're up front, yeah, it's going to be louder, but it's going to be loud in the back too. With the column arrays, I think it does pretty well for toasted speeches. I haven't had a problem with it. I am sure there are rooms that have acoustic challenges where you will have problems with them, but I haven't experienced it. Now, no matter what kind of speaker system you're using, be it a column array or a traditional PA system with two-way tops and subs, if people are having a hard time hearing what's going on in the back without too much echo and such, maybe some rear fill is in order. I just started doing this. I really like it. I'm going to start doing it more. And what I really like about it is I don't have to turn the mains up as high to compensate for that throw. I can go ahead and keep them at a good moderate level that's not painful for anyone and still have that clear sound in the back. So, yeah. I mean, in closing, did they suck? I don't think so. If you do, that's fine, but it's not a rule. This is all a matter of opinion. So don't worry too much about what everybody else says, especially the people with the loud voices, including myself. Sound is objective. Figure this out for yourself. If you trust somebody, listen to them. If you don't, don't. But don't take any of this stuff as gospel. It's all opinion. And that's it. Thanks for watching.